All right, y'all. It is 5:30, and we are beginning to get together. And while I explain a few things to you, I'm going to show you what was going on. For those that didn't look at my video earlier, what we're going to do. So first, I'm going to direct my attention right here to this pot. This right here is. I'm sorry. Give me a second. All right. This right here is my stock pot, and what I have connected to it is a sous vide machine. And the sous vide machine is a how you would say it is a, like I told earlier, it's a jacuzzi for your food. What it does, it regulates the temperature at a set temperature. So I had, for instance, I've been doing potatoes, and so what I do is I vacuum seal my potatoes in a bag. What I did here is I did butter and garlic, and I sat in here for about maybe 2.5 hours, and then also did some broccolini. So this is this was actually something done in a lot of restaurants, especially high-end restaurants. If I'm wrong on this, forgive me, but what they would do is they would have a large tub that would take over a table, and some of the stuff they have like little metal slots that they would have in that water, and then they would have a machine, something like this, that would keep the water at a certain temperature. And then also they would mark when, say for instance they wanted steaks rare, medium rare, well done, things like that. It can also be other types of protein like chicken and seafood, vegetables, and things like that. So I use it for vegetables today. But what they would do is that they would take it out of the bag, and of course it would look kind of weird, but when you would see when you would cut it, it was perfectly done. So all you had to do is transfer to a hot pan with some oil and whatever, and sear it or put it on the grill and then grill it. So that's why if you ever was in a restaurant, you would you ordered a steak, and sometimes it came out really quick. It's because it was already prepared, especially if it was a busy time. Sometimes it wasn't. Sometimes it is. It just depends on what service you had with whatever business or restaurant. So what I'm going to do with this is part of my version of a loaded potato, and I'll show you what I'm going to do with that. But the first things first is that I'm going to saute my green onions and pork belly. There is bacon in the loaded potato. I wanted to kick it up a notch and go ahead and use pork belly. So I'm going to get my ingredients real quick. So I didn't want them to sit out on the counter until I was ready to use them. So what I'm about to do now is move this pot so I can actually bring the camera closer to the stove and get everything started to cook. Go ahead and empty this water. But it's a good thing, like if you want something to cook and you want something really well done and really tender, some people get actually larger tubs of water or larger pots. And I've seen people put roast. I've seen people put hams. I've seen all kinds of things. And sometimes that stuff sits for 24 hours, and that stuff is just going to be ready to fall apart. And then all you got to do is the finishing touches on it, put it in the oven or whatever to sear it. So let's get these out. Go ahead and put those right there, ready to cool off. And get rid of this. I could have had that prepped up, but I wanted y'all to see it first before I got rid of it. Those actually worked out well. Also, I want to show you a little something. I actually, I don't know if you can see it right there. Oops, sorry. That is dehydrated bell pepper. I actually wanted an extra few ingredients into my 5-spice that I was already using, so I got some yellow and orange bell peppers, which are normally sweeter, because I already have like a peppery flavor to my 5-spice. So I wanted to give it kind of like a sweet, peppery flavor. So that's what I did with that. And I actually, with my 5-spice, went ahead and incorporated it, and it smells really good and it comes out. The taste is phenomenal. So that's going on the steak. So first, I'm taking out the pork belly and the green onion out of the stove. I'm gonna actually saute those together. So get the pan ready. And first, go ahead and add a little bit of olive oil. Just regular plain olive oil. I learned a little bit about regular olive oil this past couple weeks. I was using an EVOO, which is more used for dressings and flavors and stuff like that. But getting a regular olive oil, you can do frying, you can do a lot of stuff. So I changed up a few things to do that. So now, what I'm doing. If anybody has any questions, let me know. The thing, there was a couple questions about some stuff about me cooking live, and what I wanted to say about that is that if I mess up, I mess up. I can't edit a video, so you get to see cooking in its purest form. So if I mess something up, you see it. Sometimes I might do something that you won't catch, and I won't let you know. I just keep on going with the flow, which is what I like to do. I like to just keep on going in motion, even if I mess something up. But I like to show the human nature side of cooking, where not everything is perfect. Some stuff does come out perfect, some stuff does not. Not everything I do is going to be good. I'm hoping it does, but if there is something that somebody doesn't like, they just don't like it. With my wife, that's been very rare. I think she's maybe not liked one thing, and that was lamb, which I didn't like either. But I made a good sauce for it. So, anywho, that being said, another thing is that, yes, you see me with my socks on. I do not wear shoes in my house. I think I had somebody not complain, but they said that I see your socks on. I said, yeah, I don't go barefooted in the house. So that's two things you learned about my household. So clean floors and human nature in the kitchen. So let's go ahead and get the green onion sauteed. Already got a nice little sizzle there. Go ahead and turn on the fan. Turn on low. All right, well, smell. This was actually a beautiful bunch of green onions when I picked it out from the store. So already prepped it, cut it, and stuff like that. But to have a loaded potato, green onion is usually one of those toppings or one of the parts that go in it. And I actually want to incorporate the pork belly because I think the two will be really good together. And since this takes the longest, I would go ahead and do this first. So now I'm adding the pork belly. Cut it. We got from the store that we shopped at. They already had stuff in the case by the slab, and you can cut to your liking. And so I got a nice big piece of it and cut a little bit up for this loaded potato. And it's a lot, but that was the plan because I wanted a little bit extra for later. You can put it on, you can get some tortillas and a little cheese and a little bit of the cooked pork belly. A good late night snack if you kind of have a hankering for something. So as I was cooking, this actually has a really sweet smell too. As I was cutting it, it had a sweet smell. So what I want to do is add a little bit of salt, just a little bit, not a lot, because the potato and the cheese and all that stuff is gonna take a lot of it. And then also what I'm gonna do is some cracked pepper. And continue to cook. You can already see it changing colors. And the reason why I cut it up because I wanted it to look like bacon bits. Plus, it's faster to cook. Yes, it does smell good. My wife is behind me. Say hello.
Hello. It smells awesome in here.
Actually, pork belly, if you want a nice, good meal, and because everybody loves pork, is get this sauteed down really good and get it that caramel color, and add it to a homemade macaroni and cheese. And you got a hit, a really good hit. All right. What I'm starting doing next is that I kind of want to have a grill flavor. A grill look to my potatoes. So I'm gonna cut those real quick. I didn't go ahead and prep this ahead of time because I knew I was gonna need some time to go ahead and do my pork to cook that down. And this is not gonna take long. And then I'm gonna get the heating on this started. Add a little bit of olive oil and go ahead and do a quick grill on the potatoes. Once again, I went ahead and I put, I vacuum sealed the bag. I have butter and garlic, and that's it. So it cooks in its own flavors. There's no outside. So that's what makes sous videing, if that's such a word, the way to do things. Especially when it comes to your proteins like chicken and steak. Because you can actually put stuff in there, and that's all you have to do is take it out and sear it. Quick and easy. Stirring the pork again. So, cut this real quick. Get a let me use this grill since I haven't turned on the heat yet. I'm gonna empty out some of this nice goodness here, but don't need it. Oh, that smells so good. As always, like I said, if you have any questions or even saying, hey, this is what I do, or you need to do this, or whatever, I take criticism. I may use it or may not. It just depends on what's going on. Let's go ahead and cut this using my Nakiri. Do little thinner slices, as you can see, maybe about a fourth. I think it's about a fourth of an inch, maybe. And the potatoes are cooked perfectly. That's what I love about the sous vide. And you probably wonder, if I'm doing a loaded potato, why am I slicing? But you'll see. A little fancy part of it. Because you can make some of the simplest meals look like you spent hours doing them. And that's what I want to show y'all. As you can see, the pork is starting to shrink, and I'm starting to get a little browning on it. That's what I want. And the green onion is getting a nice little, how do you say, not a char, but a darkening, which I love, because for some reason, caramelized onions of any type is usually pretty good Especially recently when I found about more about purple onions. Because I wasn't really a big fan before until I had them raw in a little relish. Which I actually, I'm hoping he watches, or if not, later on watches it. We went to Sur La, if I'm saying this wrong, correct me, but Sur La Table, for a class, cooking class that my wife gave for our anniversary. And the guy's name is, his name is Nick Rogers, but he goes by Sweet Nick. And because I think he does a lot of desserts and everything else. And dude was really good. And he taught us a lot about relishes and salads, different types of salads, things that I would have never even tried. Like raw squash and zucchini, amazing. All right, so I did cut that up, so I'm gonna keep on checking on my fork here. All right. One thing I forgot to go ahead and thing is if you actually know people that just that like watch cooking and just have fun, maybe even later on get into it with chat and everything, let them know. Just get a sign up for a YouTube account and hit subscribe on my channel. With that way, you'll be able to go ahead and get warnings when I'm about to start my live stream, or if I have any videos that pop up during the week concerning what I'm going to do for that upcoming Saturday, which is most of y'all know that watches me. It's every Saturday at 5:30. Last week I did skip due to an unfortunate issue, but it was something easy to fix, and I feel much better now. All right, so that is looking really good right now. As you can see, nice little color. Go ahead and get to the pan there. Look at that. You can smell that, can't you? There. All right. I want a few more browning in a few other spots. I'm gonna let that go for a little bit more. And go ahead and get my griddle. Let me wash my hands. And while I'm doing this too, I'm gonna wash my hands again, though, is go ahead and set my steaks out, because I like to have them sit out well, they've been sitting out, but I want to sit them out out in the open for about another 10 minutes to get closer to the wing temp that I need to. And there goes babies. So New York strips. I'm going to be doing one because I like to just do one plate and then I cook after I'm finished. But we normally do ribeye, but I wanted a little bit more marbling instead of just like a whole bunch of fat everywhere. Ribeyes are awesome. That's my favorite steak. But I wanted to do more with New York strip. So that's what I'm about to do now. And they're about a good inch thick. So my wife and I, don't turn up your noses. We both like medium to medium rare. So when I do cut them after they've been seared, you're gonna see a little red, but that's the way you're supposed to eat them. So I know I can hear some voices through the live stream right now. So what I'm doing is I'm gonna set those out, and I don't season until right before I put them in the oil. Because there's no reason to marinate a steak. If it's a good steak, you don't need to marinate it. What needs to happen is that you get your spices. I like doing the 5 spices because I like to have a little flavor. Some people just like all natural, salt and pepper, bam. But I wanted to kick it up a notch on that and add something different to it. And I also use a little tool that when I put the seasoning on, it actually kind of punches holes into them. It's like a tenderizer. And that's this right here. And I'll do a few of those. Doesn't mean that the steak is tough. I just want to actually incorporate the seasoning into the steak itself. So we'll have that. Wash my hands again. For those that know me, they know I'm kind of not a full 100% germaphobe, but very close. And I do not like stuff on my hands too much, so I do wash my hands a lot. which is why I love this new kitchen, so I can just turn around and wash my hands anytime I need to. And this has been sitting on low heat, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take out the pork and let it finish its residual cooking, but that's gonna go with the potatoes, and you'll see what I'm about to do, so here in a little bit. Actually, I want to sit there a little bit longer. I don't know, I just feel like I need to. I want a darker color. I mean, it's dark now, but for some reason, just to kind of mimic what bacon looks like when you cook it, I want that look. So let's continue to do that. Go ahead and get that. So what I'm gonna do is the grill here, and I'm gonna go ahead and start the heat on this. So once this heats up, go ahead and put a little olive oil on it. Let me turn this down so y'all can actually see more of it. Bam. So let that do its thing. I'm not going to do anything with the potatoes. As soon as I put the oil on, I'll just sit on there to give them a nice little sear, and then I'm going to take them off. I don't want them to, because they're already cooked, I just want them to have the marks on it, to have a nice little look. This one's actually kind of a faster meal today, but if you want to surprise your loved one, this is something to do that's really fancy that you can go to depending on where you stay, like here in Texas, we have Perry Steakhouse, we have Fleming's, and of course a lot of the other staple that people do. Plus, there's a lot of different other steaks that we still have not steakhouses that we have not tried yet here in Texas. So I'm really looking forward to something like that once the COVID thing happens, that it finishes and does what it needs to do, vaccines, and we can get out and do a little bit more. We get out, but we don't really go to the restaurants. We usually do pickup orders. So, but that also works out to the point because we actually cook at home more than we normally do this past time, which is good because more practice. All right, so what I'm gonna do is take some of this oil with the brush. Basically, I want to get that top part because in the grooves, you don't have to really worry about too much. Olive oil is great for a lot of reasons. I like it better than vegetable oil. The flavor is awesome. It sears beautifully. I do that with my steaks and everything. I love the way it looks. So that's why I use a lot of olive oil. And then also EVOO for a lot of sauces and dressings, which you'll see more of that in the future. All right, almost done with this pork. It's looking really good. Get you a nice little close up again. Look at that. Nice caramelization. The onions it's just gonna be nice. So actually I'm gonna turn down that to majorly low and just let that simmer. I want to do a little test here. See what it does. Not quite there yet. Turn it a little bit more. Because I do want kind of like a high sear. And also, I forgot to tell you, people that said they didn't have a chat function is more likely is because you didn't have a YouTube account. If you do, you can actually do like what my wife just did. She did a chat thing in there. So if you don't see the chat option, it's probably because you don't have a YouTube account and you just hit a link. So get yourself a YouTube account and subscribe to me. All right. Okay, I feel a little bit more, so we're waiting. Let me go ahead and transfer what I need to, since that's still heating up a little bit. ahead and turn it off all together. Get a little bowl. Get rid of some of the stuff on the counter. You're gonna have a dirty counter some type of way. So the way they say it is, if you don't have a mess, you're not doing something right. And all that goodness. I know. I'm just putting it over here so you can see what I'm doing. I'm transferring it to a bowl, and there is this fat that would just be awesome if I was able to have a few other things. I would use this to sear the steaks in, but I'm not going to do that. But you can always save it for later if you wanted to, because it's actually infused with onion, which would be a really great flavor. Which might give me an idea for something. Get some of those crispy onion bits out. I want to make sure I get all that. All right. So now we have that. That is ready to go with a loaded potato. And what I'm going to do is empty this out real quick. And the good thing I like about this pan here, easy cleanup. Very easy cleanup. If you watch one of my videos, y'all, when we did this Sur La Table or Sur La Table or whatever visit, we want to spend a little money there too as well. And this is one of the pans I got, and I love it, along with this griddle as well. So this will be ready for the steak. Got a few things on the floor. Let me wash my hands. Almost washed. All right, the pan should be ready. Yep. You may be able to hear it a little tiny bit.
I hear it.
Little sissy. What we really want is just a few real marks on it. I actually had ordered something, and unless it's by the front door now, I can't use it. But to do even more, because I'm really, when it comes to my food, I like when I post pictures. It's like I've told y'all before in my other vids, food is like art to me. I got a couple sets of, actually I got a set of culinary tweezers. And also, they're known as chopstick helpers for people that don't know how to use chopsticks. But I actually bought it for a particular reason, is that chopsticks have really fine points. And so I would use them as more of a, kind of like a culinary tweezer and for other things. And they're really strong. So you might see those in my upcoming vids and when I'm plating, because to go ahead and make my videos a lot more eye-popping is that I will go ahead and my thumbnail will be what I cook. So after I make this plate up, it's going to have a picture taken and then I give it to my wife to eat because she's my food taster.
Wonderful job.
So we're gonna let those keep on going. I'm gonna turn it up a little more because I want that sear. I want that little green mark. So we're waiting for that to go through. I'm gonna prep my pan for the steaks and get that ready to be started, because that's not gonna take long at all. Actually, for about an inch to an inch and a half, it takes about 5 minutes on each side to go ahead and cook. For us to go ahead and on that second side, I actually start basting when it gets down to like the last few minutes. We give it a nice flavor, and my seasoning actually has everything that I need. So the only thing you'll see added to my oil is actually butter at the end. And yes, I said butter. Basting in butter on a steak, woo, it is good. There you go. We're almost getting them. So I'm just waiting for that to keep on doing this thing. So let me go ahead and I'm gonna turn you around here and see what I'm doing. That right there are my steaks. So I'm gonna stand to the side. I know it's far away, but you'll kind of see what I'm doing. So what I'm gonna do is take a little bit of my seasoning that I make up. I actually get it to a fine powder. If you see it, sorry, using camera here. It is very fine powder. And like I said, today I incorporated dehydrated bell peppers. So it's gonna be interesting. And what I like about powder is that you can put it on there and it's gonna stick. And it's gonna be in every crack, crevice. And you just all you have to do is do it right before you put the steaks on. So, and I can smell all of the bell pepper. So pat it in. And put a little bit more because I want it to hit every spot, including the sides. All right, so I'm gonna flip that over. All right, we'll run the beef. Oh, cool.
I'm just gonna want this.
Yeah, shout out to my mother-in-law who's actually watching this right now. She was not happy with me earlier because I was cooking this, because this is one of her favorite things. So, sorry, when you get down here, you'll get that'll be the first meal you get. All right, let's see how the potatoes are looking. Nice little grill mark on it. You can't see it because these are yellow potatoes, but I'll show you once. And yes, I'm using my fingers. It's not hot. My wife says I have asbestos fingers. And I'm gonna show you a little twist on the loaded potato, which is like I said, you're already thinking now that this is different. So there's a sauce that I make, and I'm not sure if you've ever done it, but sour cream with a little bit of barbecue sauce mixed in is amazing. It'll kick up your potatoes. But the way I'm doing this is you'll see why I'm doing what I'm doing. Let's focus pan, make sure it's nice and coated. All right, I'm gonna let them finish on that side, and then we're gonna come back to the to the steaks. So what I'm gonna do now, they're really good steaks. These are grass-fed New York strips. You go to your local grocery store. No, I have no problems with Walmart, but I don't do Walmart. So I did it a long time for where I was living in Mississippi, and it was just when I got to a new place, it was a place that I really didn't want to go to unless I really had to. I've been here for 9 months, 10 months, or something like that, and I've been to Walmart maybe 4 times since I've been here. So places, depending on where you go, I would go to probably your upper brand grocery stores like Whole Foods, Kroger, H-E-B, like we have here in Texas, which I love. Anybody, you ask my family, they always make fun of me about going to H-E-B. So stuff like that, you can find a grass-fed, and they're usually in the butcher the butcher area, fresh in the case. So you can actually pick your own ones. Like I hand picked these two, and because I like the way it looks. So what I'm doing now is I'm using this machine. One little, yep, there, bam. Next one. So what I'm doing is I might be tenderizing a little bit, but I'm pushing that seasoning into the steaks. Then I'm gonna do the same thing on the other side. This steak will fall apart. It'll be tender. That's why I don't like well done, because well done makes it into a hockey puck. And then the fat is gonna be tender as can be. All right, so that's done. We're gonna finish letting them sit there. And I'm gonna finish up these potatoes. I'm gonna get the oil, heat it up still, again. All right. Let that do the same for right now. Check the potatoes. Ooh, lovely.
Turn your.
Oh, that wife had to tell me I got into my zone there. All right, let me see if I can show you. See the little grill marks? Beautiful. So that's what I want. They already cooked. All I had to do is get on here to get the grill marks. That's what I wanted. It's all about presentation. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna turn that off and take these off. I don't know if it's from the years of just messing with hot stuff, and I did work in a couple of Chinese restaurants when I was younger. Maybe that has something to do with it, but yeah, sometimes it's easier to use your fingers. So that's done. All right, we're getting close. What I'm gonna do first while this is doing this thing, turn this down for a second, is got something to show y'all. So what I'm gonna do, now this is hot. So I'm putting this right here. And I'm gonna put this in the stove in the sink for now. Okay, a little sizzle in the background, and just put a little water on that. I wanted to cool it off real quick. All right, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make my loaded potato, and that being so. Anyways, let's get this loaded potato put together. So what I'm gonna do is. Look, thing here. It's good for the heat, so I don't have to worry about it too much. Little forming ring. And I'm gonna start doing a layer of potato. It won't stay perfectly the side, but I'm kind of getting a focal point in the middle. So that's what I'm doing. Go ahead and do my cheese and my pork belly. So, fresh shaved cheese. Cheddar. So I'll take a little bit of the pork belly, put in there, with the green onion, a little bit of the cheese. Another layer of potato. Pork belly. A little more cheese. And a little bit of pork belly. So I like it melted in there with the cheese. Okay, and then one more layer of potato. And actually, some more pork belly. All right. And for design, little topping kind of thing. Pork belly with cheese. Doesn't have to be all perfect, but there you go. What I'm gonna do is turn my stove on to broil. On low. No, on high. Okay. It'll go on. And what I'm gonna do is I'm taking my broccolini. Which I went ahead and used in the sous vide as well. It's already been cooked. Oh, got a nice little smell to it. What I'm gonna do is gonna go around the middle. Okay. And this being metal, I'm gonna go ahead and keep it because I have a little stopper that hang on. So it has a nice presentation in the middle. You have the broccolini around it. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna put it in the broiler to get that cheese melted, and that'll be my version of a loaded potato. So while it's doing its thing, we're gonna go ahead and start on the steaks. Let's get the heat back up because we want a good sear. And actually, I'm gonna do something for y'all because I need to go ahead. Let's go ahead and do this one. That way you can be right up on it. Let's go ahead and turn this off. Some reposition this thing so y'all be right on it. See how the steak's gonna look when it's finished. So the steak has been sitting out, which is good. You don't want a cold center. And plus, with all the seasoning and everything, it's just been sitting there getting all those flavors. Let that sit for a second because I want it real hot. First time using it. Get my little poppers going. All right, so this is the basically the last part. We've got the potato with the broccolini in the oven, melting the cheese up so it'll be ready. And a little oven safe, kind of like ramekin thing. What would you call that?
It's just a little bit.
It's a baking dish, ceramic, so it's real nice and really convenient, and it actually gives it a nice little look to it, and that's what we want. I'm gonna get some butter because, like I told y'all, butter is in the basting with the oil, and then I'm also gonna show you a little something, something. You never will need steak sauce again. Really, there's no need for steak sauce, but some people like steak sauce, so this is why I'm showing that. Because I hate seeing A1 steak sauce at the table or ketchup. That just makes me angry. So I came up with this for that. So if you're going to do a steak sauce, you might as well use what you cook here. All right, so there we go. Like I said, for us, 5 minutes, around 5 minutes on each side. It's gonna be rare, but it's gonna be good. You hear that? A little scissors look. Wash my hands again. Around 620, I will go ahead and flip it. Or 621. But basically what's going to happen is that between the juice from the steak, the broth, as you may say, incorporates itself with the olive oil, and then the seasoning's coming off too, it's going to be, what's left in the pan is going to be awesome. And so the butter, when it's added, and cook it down real quick, you're going to have all those flavors to put back on the steak if you want it. So there's no need for a steak sauce. What? Okay. The potato is almost done there, which is good. We'll sit up to the side. It'll probably work right out where it'll be done right behind each other. Hopefully, in the next coming videos, we will have some more interaction because I like to talk while I'm cooking and answer questions. When I used to do my stuff in Mississippi, when I went to go cook for people, I'd actually sit at the table with them sometimes, which I wasn't going to do, but they would ask me to. Be like, what was your motivation? What made you want to do this? And how did you do this? And how did you come with these flavors? Stuff like that. And I love doing that interaction. If I ever owned a restaurant, it would actually be a very personal, I guess that's the word I need to use, type of restaurant where I would only do so many a night, and I would have time with all my customers to talk to them and stuff like that. Unless they wanted their own piece and they just wanted a nice romantic night, then fine, I'll go on to the next one. I wish y'all could smell it. It smells good. All right, in a couple minutes, we'll turn. Actually, you can actually look at it. You can actually see the steak shrinking and getting kind of plump, which is good. This is not for somebody that wants to clean stove afterwards because there's gonna be grease everywhere. But hey, whatever. Like I said, if you don't get dirty, something's wrong. And the one thing after that too, is that you want the steak to rest afterwards. You do not want to put it in the steak as soon as it comes off the stove. You want to let it rest for 10 minutes. And that's keeping in the juices, it finishes cooking, things like that. And the reason why it's popping more is because the blood, the juice from the steak is going in back into the oil. All right. I want you to flip. Use my fingers again. Look at that. Put that up to the camera. Look at that sear. You don't necessarily have to have a grill to do that. So now what I want to do is turn down the temp a little bit because I don't want that butter to burn. But in about 3 minutes or 2 minutes, I'm going to go ahead and take the butter, drop it in there, and then I'm going to take a spoon and start basting, which means you'll turn the pan to the side, take all the juice, and start throwing it onto the steak. Anything that you cook everything in there, everything that's in the pan is going to go back into the steak. It is, yeah. There's a big hunk of butter on the board right now, as you see. Butter is good, just not all the time. Actually, what I'm going to do too, when I go ahead and get ready to make a little bit of sauce, let's check the potato, make sure. Ooh, get a nice little char on that broccolini. Is that I'm going to add a little bit of vegetable stock to this. I know that sounds weird, but because you won't want to use beef broth or anything like that, but the vegetable stock is going to kind of clean the pan. So the glaze, and you just don't need a lot of it, you just need a little bit. Something to evaporate off. You can use beef broth, but it's going to be intense beef flavor. And we kind of want a little bit of subtle. So in about another minute or so, we'll start doing that presentation. Let me get this out.
I'll hold it for a minute.
Now I'm just trying to get the grab. I want to show y'all. That's my version of a loaded potato. Not finished yet though. While the steak is doing his last couple minutes here, before I put the basting, I'm gonna get out the sour cream. And until I get a chance to have time to go ahead and cook my my barbecue sauce that I do have a recipe for my own. We're gonna use a little bit of no product placement here, but a little bit of Sweet Baby Ray. For some reason, it is really good. So what I'm doing is taking a little bit of sour cream. Some barbecue sauce. Not a lot, just enough for color and a little bit of flavor. Before I wash my hands again. All right. Bam. We have the butter in the pan. So what we're doing is we're taking all the juice, make sure it's staying on the flame, and then bam. We'll do that for the last couple minutes. Some people if you've seen this online, this is something that I saw Gordon Ramsay do. And from that point on, I never looked back. It is one of the best flavor steaks. He usually throws thyme and a clove of garlic, but I already have garlic and other seasonings in my 5 spice, so I don't need all that. I just needed butter and then whatever was in the pan. So you can understand now why I talk about not needing a steak sauce. You have a little bit of the flavor within the steak, and then you have it all around the steak. And then you make a sauce with remnants. So, anybody that need a chance to make it today, tell them to look at the video and let me know what they think. All right, about 1 more minute, and we'll be finished. And we're gonna rest this. Okay. All right. I'm actually transferred to my cutting board. All right, it's on my cutting board, as you can see right there. And it's gonna rest. We're not gonna touch it. Leave it alone for 10 minutes, don't even worry about it. Come back to it. So what I'm gonna do now is make my sauce for you. So what I'm gonna do is go get some vegetable stock from my refrigerator. I like using a little organic, just a little bit. Something to the glaze. That's it. Right there, that's all you need. Rinse off my spoon. It's already cooking off the water. It's just the flavor that you're looking at. And something to kind of deglaze the bottom of the pan. So that's all you're doing. Deglazing that bottom of the pan. All that butter, the seasonings, the broth from the steak, and then a little bit of vegetable stock. You can turn up the temperature a little bit to kind of cook more so you can get a little thicker sauce. While it's still a little simmering, I'm gonna go ahead and if it's too thick, you can add a little bit of milk. But if you keep on whipping it, it usually thins out a little bit. That's what I'm gonna keep on doing. And a nice little, kind of almost looks like pink sauce from the hibachi grill, a little bit, the color. As you can see, it's getting thinner, which is great. All right. Now that we've actually cooked off some of that water, you're starting to get a little bit of witch color. So if you go ahead and cross the pan, if it takes a little bit to get back together, that's a good thing. Means you got a nice little thick sauce there. Bam. All right. So I'm gonna let that sit for a second while I transfer this. So we're turning off the fire, the flame. Sorry. Get a little container for this. Oh. Another spoon. You don't need a lot of this. All it is a flavoring from the steak. That's all you need. What you can also do to make it more like a gravy is that you can add some a cornstarch slurry or flour, and you'll get a nice little thing. And all she's going to do is basically put a little bit over her steak if she wants, which I'll have this to the side. But you really don't need it. This is for people that want a little bit of flavor. And you can add all kinds of different things to it. All right, so we have that. Taking the sour cream mixture and putting it there's something about barbecue sauce and sour cream together, especially with this pork belly. It's gonna be amazing. So I'm giving it a few more minutes, just a couple more. And what I'm gonna do next is I'm gonna go ahead and cut the steak and then plates, take a picture. That's gonna be my thumbnail, and pass it on to the wife so she can taste it. Like I said, this is one of her favorites. So we were supposed to do it last week, it just didn't work out. So, somebody, and one of my coworkers actually appreciate the little, how you say, support. Thank you. Yes, this is one of my favorites. Usually, if I, want to show off, this is the meal that I would cook. Not the potato. Normally, I do oven roasted fingerlings, but since I'm kind of pressed for time on doing a live stream, I don't want to spend too much time. I usually will do something like this where it's already pre-cooked, and all I got to do is do my little thing. So let's think. Still want to wait a couple more minutes. Oh yeah, my wife said waiting is the hardest part. Yeah, it is, especially smelling everything. And the thing that sucks too is like, no matter how well you have good ventilation in the kitchen, there's still going to be a smell that's going to go out of the out into the open living room, because we have a kind of open floor plan here with the living room and the kitchen, and then the hallway. So when you come into the house, you'll probably smell steak tomorrow. You'll smell the good smell of it, and it'll eventually dissipate. Also, leftovers is awesome. So that's not a steak that is going to be eaten right away. Not the whole thing. So, yeah. All right, what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut and I'm going to plate because I want to take a picture. So, give me a second. And what we're going to do is, she's ready. See, already got her hands grabbed.
I'm smelling it. I've been waiting.
There's one of my babies right here, butcher knife. I love this. It cuts everything and anything. So, as you can see, do a little cut here. As my wife will tell you, she would want this a little bit more rare, but I think it's still going to be pretty good. Even though we normally get that on ribeyes, this is a little bit different. So, all right, so I cut a few pieces. Let's go ahead and plate. Don't be afraid to use your hands, especially if you have it clean, because plating is sometimes a pain if you don't have the right tools, but your fingers can do a lot more, especially like I said, your hands are clean, which mine always are. People that know me, I don't really shake hands, and I usually do knuckles or elbows or something like that. So, yeah. All right, so I'm taking the larger piece, and then the thing about it, this is actually still a pretty juicy piece of meat, which I love. This This is actually looking pretty good. So let's go ahead and go back to here. So got the steak right there. The potato. And then the sauce. And she can pretty much just pour it over the top. So there you go. New York strip seared, basted with my version of a loaded potato. So if you want a little something different, this is the way to do it. Especially if you like broccolini and things like that. As you can say, it still is pink, which some people don't like, but that's what we like. We usually like a little bit more than that, but there you go. So let me take a quick pic, and then she can go ahead and give her response. All right, let's get it right there. Get this out of the way. Sorry, I'm just when it comes to my photos, very particular. All right. Get her really don't need it, but steak.
The real steak, that's going to be 10 hour.
Let me give her.
It's in there. It's up there.
Oh, that's right. That's the next thing we need to get. We need to get another set of steak knives, good ones. All right, there you go. All right, as always, the wife's taste tester. Okay, I know we normally get ribeyes, and we don't really do much with New York strip. Would you still prefer a ribeye over that, or is it?
This is pretty good, actually. I love my ribeye because of all the marbling. New York strip has a lot less than that, but this is pretty good.
Oops. I just flipped around.
Okay, let's try the potato.
So you're gonna try potato and stuff. That's the sous vide on the counter. That's not a curling iron, just in case you were wondering. I think she's ready for me to get off here. That way she can start smashing down. She's trying to be.
No, I'm not.
So what you think on that? Is that something that you would try?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. A lot of this stuff is new. It's things that I think of before I do it, but I wanted to try something different. So, anywho, I appreciate everybody stopping by, and for people that are going to actually look at this in the future, get your friends, your family, tell them to subscribe. Just look up Just in Time for Cooking, and just make sure they have an account, because that way they can go ahead and get the email saying that I'm gonna start something, or there's a video that pops up that gives information vital to that week. Like I said, this is my third video, so I'm still learning, trying to get through the whole live streaming thing. I think I'm getting better. I mean, please let me know if I am or not. I know what people wanted was to have a bird's eye view of the stove, and that's what I try to do. And you really don't need to see me the whole entire time to hear my voice. So, and I usually talk afterwards, so you get a chance to see me then and what I look like and what I do. I think that's it. So, every Saturday, 5:30. If you want to see more, stay tuned then. Thanks, and y'all have a great rest of the Saturday, and I'll talk to y'all later. Let me stop this. There we go. Y'all have a good one. Bye.